Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Algebra coming to you live and direct from the studio, aka my living room, aka it's really past my bedtime right now, but I need to make sure that you guys are right for tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first 5 problems from your study guide. I'm going to put a time limit on these things. You have a test on Monday, which means that you need to be able to do at least 16 of these problems in a 50-minute time period. Keep in mind, some of them are easier than others, but at the same time, if you understand the process and you're comfortable doing the process, the numbers will take care of themselves. Yes, you will get to use a calculator, but no, you will not get to use your notes. The most important thing that you can get out of today is knowing if you should be using substitution or elimination. I've got 2 problems up on the screen right now, same 2 problems that you have in front of you in your packet. Problem number 1 is set up for elimination. The reason why this is set up for elimination right now is because the variables are stacked. Is that process already started for you? Stacked variables automatically tell me that elimination is a good idea. Now I'm looking at number 2. I have a variable that's already by itself. An isolated variable automatically tells me that I should be going with the substitution route. I'm not saying that it's impossible to do it either way. You can choose whatever you want ultimately, and it's always going to work out. But which one is going to be the easiest, which one is going to be the fastest for you, not just because you like elimination better, but because it's the most efficient way to do a particular problem. Now again, you could use substitution. You could get the y by itself in the first problem pretty easily. Substitute it in, solve for the x, plug in the x, and then be done. But I think because it's stacked on top of each other, and you can see the relationship between the plus and the minus y pretty quickly, that it's easier for you to go ahead and get rid of them. Similarly, since the x is already by itself, it'll be pretty easy for you to take this negative 6y and plug it in. I'm going to do the entire process. I'm about 2 minutes and 45 seconds into the video. I'm going to be done with both of these problems before I get to 4 minutes and 45 seconds. That's 2 minutes. What I'm telling you is on your test, you should be able to do 16 problems in 50 minutes. That's over 3 minutes per problem, but I'm about to do these 2 problems. I'm keeping the same time limit, but I've already wasted almost 30 seconds. I need to match up the y's. Multiplying the top one by 2, not changing the bottom one. Negative 6x plus 2y equals negative 6. The bottom one stayed the same, remember? Reason why I did that is because now I see that my y's are going to cancel out. I end up with negative 1x equals positive 4. Get rid of the negative, x equals negative 4. Take your answer. You're not done. You need to plug it in. I'm going to plug it in right up here. 5 times negative 4 minus 2y equals 10. I do the math. I move the 20 over to the other side. I divide by negative 2, and y equals negative 15. So again, not a hard process if you know what to do in the beginning. Again, now I see a x here and x there. I'm just going to trade them out. Y plus 4 times negative 6y equals 23. Multiply. Combine like terms. Divide it away. And now I just have to plug it in. I'm going to plug it in right here because that seems pretty easy. X equals negative 6 times negative 1. X is 6. Like I said, it just now hit 4 minutes and 45 seconds on my clock. That was 1 minute and 30 seconds to do 2 problems. You're going to have 3 minutes, twice as long, to do half as much work. You just need to know where to start. Alright, so now I'm looking at problem numbers 3 and problem number 4. Both of them are set up like an elimination already, and that's absolutely fine. If you see the problems and you don't want to do substitution, you don't have to unless I tell you to. Your test is going to say that you have to do 2 problems by substitution. It's going to say that you have to do 2 problems by elimination, but the rest of them, you get to choose whatever method you want to do. So as I look at this problem, I see the x's are stacked on top of the x's, the y's are stacked on top of the y's, and it seems like a good idea to eliminate, regardless of the fact that I'm going to need to multiply something, big bracket multiply something on both equations to make it disappear. And I'm going to multiply the top one by 8 and the bottom one by 5. Somebody wants to know, why would you choose 5 and 8? Those seem like big numbers when you start to multiply. I'm choosing those because if I multiply the first one by 8, I'm going to end up with 40y. And if I multiply the bottom one by 4, I'm going to end up with 40y. All I want to do is kind of similar to the clearing fractions idea. That's why we're using the big brackets, by the way. But these things should cancel out. Regardless if they end up big or if they end up small, they should still cancel out. 48x minus 40y equals negative 32. 45x plus 40y equals negative 30. Need to add these two things together. Again, I recognize, completely understand that you're going to end up with a big number. Ooh, 93x. Not a huge deal. You can handle that. Equals negative 62. For some reason, people are afraid of fractions, but I'm going to give them to you anyway. Your answer would be a negative 62 over 93, which happens to reduce into a pretty good fraction, actually. It becomes a negative 2 over 3. That's the number that I need to plug in. Where do I want to plug it in? You get to choose. I'm going to go right here. 9 times negative 2/3 plus 8y equals negative 6. Negative 6 plus 8y equals negative 6. Add 6 to both sides. 8y equals 0. That does not mean you get no solution. Y'all need to get that through your skulls right now. Just because it says 0 on the other side does not mean no solution. 0 is a number. 0 is an acceptable answer. We have x and y. We're done with that problem. Right away, you should see elimination on number 4. You have x's and y's stacked on top of each other. It wouldn't be a hard problem to do substitution on, but you don't have to. I'm going to do it anyway just to make sure that I have an example for each different type. I'm going to solve the bottom one for this x. I'm going to move the y to the other side. X equals y minus 14. So I could take this thing, plug it into the other equation, and I'm going to get the same answer as if I was going to do the elimination. Y minus 14 plus y equals 0. Combine my like terms. Take the 14 to the other side. Divide it by 2. Got them. Your answer should get plugged in somewhere. Where do you want to plug it in? Doesn't matter to me. Choose your own path. I'm going here. X equals 7 minus 14. X is negative 7. So what's the point that I'm trying to get across to you guys right now? I'm trying to get the point across that your process doesn't change. Whether you choose to do substitution or elimination, no matter what the variables are, no matter how big the numbers may get, no matter if it has fractions or not, the process doesn't change. Trust yourself, choose wisely in the beginning, and you can fly through these problems. The goal is for you to finish at least 15 during this class period. If you can handle the next 35 minutes worth of classwork and you get somewhere between 12 and 15 done, and you're working diligently, you're on a great pace. If you get 10 done, I would say you're okay. You'll probably still finish your test next week. But that means you're not recognizing the patterns the way you should. You may use a calculator. Of course, because it's not the actual test, you can look at your notes. You can work together as much as you want to. But if it gets out of control, Mr. Kim's going to put his foot upside somebody's head. I'm kidding. He's a soccer player. You don't want that to happen. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.